The first thing people noticed about him was the worn jacket. Faded denim, torn sleeve, collar frayed like it had been through too many cold nights. No one looking at that man would have guessed the truth. He was a millionaire. But tonight, he didn't want anyone to know that. Not the customers. Not the bartender. And definitely, not the waitress who walked up to his table with tired eyes and a soft smile. Her name was Lily. She didn't know that the man slouched over the bar counter. Hair messy, boots dusty, clothes ordinary, was Evan Cole, owner of the bar she worked in and several others across the state. He built empires quietly. He appeared publicly rarely, and he showed his wealth to almost no one. Tonight, he was doing something he hadn't done in years. Checking how his staff treated people when they thought no one important was watching. Hey, can I get a water? Evan asked, voice low, humble, almost embarrassed. Lily blinked at him. Not with judgment. Not with annoyance. With concern. You okay? She asked softly. You look tired. Evan wasn't expecting kindness. Not after the last 3 bars he visited Undercover, where he'd been ignored, brushed off, or treated like a bother. I'm fine, he muttered. Just need something cheap. Lily didn't move. She looked at him, really looked, and saw the exhaustion sitting in his shoulders, the loneliness sitting in his eyes. You don't have to order something cheap, she said gently. Order what you want. I don't have much on me, he lied. She didn't even blink at his embarrassment. Water's on me, she said. You don't pay for necessities when I'm on shift. Evan froze. Wait, what? In his own bar, a waitress was paying out of her own pocket to help someone who looked broke? His chest tightened. Before he could respond, she walked away, grabbed a chilled glass, filled it to the brim, and placed it gently in front of him. There, she said. Cold, clean, and free. He opened his mouth, closed it again, then whispered, Why would you? She shrugged. You look like you needed it. He swallowed, emotions unexpectedly hitting him. Then he decided to push the test further. Could I maybe get a sandwich? Something small. If it's too much, I can. Before he finished, she lifted a hand. No. Stop apologizing. Her tone wasn't harsh. It was warm, firm, human. You want a sandwich? She asked. He nodded slowly. Then you're getting a sandwich. She turned to leave, but he called after her quietly. I can pay you back. Someday. Lily stopped, turned, and smiled in a way that felt like a sunrise breaking across a tired world. I'm not helping you so you can return something. I'm helping you because you're human. Evan's breath caught. Those were words he hadn't heard in years. Not from partners. Not from investors. Not from friends. People helped him when he was rich. People praised him when he succeeded. People agreed with him because they wanted something. But this waitress? She offered kindness with nothing to gain. And for the first time in a long time, Evan felt small. Not in a bad way. In a human way. She brought the sandwich out 10 minutes later. Warm, fresh, larger than he expected. You ordered the smallest one we had, she teased gently. But I made you the biggest. He stared at it. Then at her. Why? He asked softly. Because hungry people need real food, she said simply. Not little scraps. Nobody had spoken to him like that since he was a boy. He took a shaky breath. Can I ask your name? Lily, she said with a smile. And you? He hesitated. He wasn't supposed to reveal himself. Not tonight. Evan, he said finally. Nice to meet you. Evan, she said warmly. Nice to meet you. No fear. No flattery. No recognition. Just kindness. But then something unexpected happened. A group of wealthy customers, people who came often, people who spent a lot, waved Lily over aggressively. Hey, one of them snapped. Stop talking to the homeless guy and get us another round. Evan stiffened. Homeless guy? Lily turned toward them, expression tightening. Please don't call him that, she said quietly. It's the truth, one man scoffed. Look at him. Lily stepped closer to their table. Respect is also free, she said calmly. Just like water. The table snickered, unimpressed. Waitress, another man said sharply, we're paying customers. He's just. She cut him off gently. He's human. Evan's heart thudded. The wealthy customers rolled their eyes. Why do you care so much? He's nothing. Silence fell. Lily turned slowly, walked back toward Evan, placed a hand softly on the bar counter. Then she said, loud enough for the whole room to hear, if he's nothing, then why does it feel like he's the only one here worth serving? Evan's breath left him. The bar fell silent. Lily didn't look at him when she said it. She just wiped her hands on her apron calmly. like she was used to defending people with no voice. But Evan? He sat speechless, stunned, shaken, because tonight, he hadn't just discovered a good employee. He'd discovered a heart far richer than any he'd ever known. And he had no idea that Lily's simple kindness was about to change both of their lives forever. The bar didn't return to normal after Lily's words. Not really. People pretended to chat again, pretended to laugh, pretended to drink. But their eyes kept drifting back to the waitress who defended a nobody, and the man she defended, the man they still thought was broke. Evan kept his head down, chewing slowly, trying to swallow more than just food. Kindness. Real kindness. It hit differently when you hadn't tasted it in years. Lily wiped the table nearby, humming softly, acting like nothing unusual had happened. No attention, no ego, just a girl doing her shift. But Evan couldn't stop replaying her words. If he's nothing, then why does it feel like he's the only one here worth serving? Nobody ever spoke like that for him. Nobody. Suddenly, someone tapped his table aggressively. One of the wealthy men from earlier, suit sharp, cologne expensive, ego bigger than the room. You owe her, you know, the man sneered. For taking pity on you. Evan lifted his eyes slowly. Before he could respond, Lily appeared from behind the bar, placing herself between them. Sir, she said, tone calm but firm. He doesn't owe me anything. You, however, owe him an apology. The man scoffed loudly. For what? I don't apologize to beggars. Lily didn't move, didn't flinch. I asked you politely before, she said. I'll repeat it slowly. Stop speaking to him like he's beneath you. The man smirked. You gonna make me? Evan stood then. Not with anger. Not with violence. With presence. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't challenge the man. He simply stepped forward and said quietly, You should listen to her. The man laughed. Ain't nobody telling me what to do? Please. Evan opened his mouth to say something, finally ready to defend himself. But Lily put a hand on his arm, stopping him gently. You don't have to fight people like him, she whispered softly. Not when they already lost the fight with their own heart. Evan froze. Those words were too wise for a girl this young. Too soft. Too true. The man rolled his eyes and walked away, muttering insults. Lily didn't follow. Didn't care. She turned back to Evan. You okay? She asked. He blinked. Why do you keep asking that? Because you keep pretending you are, she said simply. Evan felt that in his bones. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Lily leaned on the bar beside him. Where are you staying? Evan swallowed. Here and there. That means nowhere, she said. He looked down. She asked gently, You working? He hesitated. Sort of. What's that mean? Means I manage things. Lily smiled a little. Like everyone else. Just trying to survive. Evan blinked at her. She thought he was struggling like she was. Living from paycheck to paycheck. Sleeping wherever he found a safe place. Eating only when he could afford it. And the crazy part? That assumption didn't offend him. It humbled him. Because tonight, for the first time, he wasn't Mr. Cole, millionaire businessman. He was just Evan. A man. A tired one. Lily picked up his empty plate. Want another? I can't pay. She waved a hand. I didn't ask if you could pay. I asked if you're hungry. He stared at her. Lost. Moved. Nobody had asked him that in years. Yeah, he whispered. I'm hungry. Good, she said. Then I'll bring you something real. Back in a minute. She turned. And Evan watched her walk away, heart shaking in a way money had never made it shake. But then something caught his eye. The manager, a stern man named Robert, grabbed Lily's arm near the kitchen. Evan tensed. What do you think you're doing? Robert hissed. Feeding customers for free? Spending extra time on worthless tables? You're hired to serve paying people, Lily, not strays. Evan's hands balled into fists. But Lily didn't break. She didn't raise her voice. Didn't apologize. She just said, he needed help. He needs to pay. The manager snapped. Everything you gave him is coming out of your paycheck tonight. Evan's chest tightened. Oh, and Lily, the manager added with a cruel smirk. If you keep wasting time on charity cases, you won't have a job to come back to. Lily didn't fight back. Didn't defend herself. She just nodded softly and whispered, Understood. Robert walked away. Evan felt like the ground tilted beneath him. This woman, this gentle, kind woman, was sacrificing her own money, her own job, her own peace. For a man she thought had nothing. He stood quickly as she approached with another plate of food. She smiled, pretending nothing was wrong. Here you go, she said gently. placing the dish in front of him. Evan stared at her. "You're paying for this," he whispered. "It's fine," she said softly. "No," he insisted. "It's not." Lily sat on the stool next to him, something she rarely did. "You want to know something?" she said quietly. "Sometimes the people who look like they have nothing give more back than anyone else." Evan blinked. "What do you mean?" She gave him a soft, tired smile. "You said thank you. That's enough. Most rich people I serve don't even say that." He swallowed hard. "Lily," he whispered, "you don't understand." "No," she cut in gently. "You don't understand. You're not nothing, Evan. I don't care if you're broke or not. You're a person, and that's enough for me." Evan's breath shook. For the first time, he didn't know what to say. But Lily wasn't done. She added softly, "And if the world treats you like you're invisible, I won't." He stared at her, truly stared, and realized something he never expected. He came here to test his employees. Instead, he discovered the only person in the building with more wealth in her heart than he ever had in his bank account. And tonight, he wasn't going to let her pay the price for kindness. Not ever again. Evan didn't touch the food. Not because he wasn't hungry. He was starving. But because his chest felt tight in a way he hadn't felt since the days before he had money. Back when kindness meant more than comfort. Lily noticed immediately. "You're not eating," she said gently. He looked at her, really looked. The soft lines under her eyes. The exhaustion she tried to hide. The quiet strength in the way she carried herself. "I don't want you losing money because of me," Evan whispered. Lily exhaled softly. "If helping someone costs me a little, I don't mind." "But he threatened your job," Evan reminded her. She shrugged, but her eyes dropped. "Yeah, he did." Her attempt to pretend it didn't hurt made Evan's stomach twist. "Lily," he said softly, "you shouldn't let a manager treat you like that." She smiled, small, tired. "It's just how things are." "No," Evan insisted. "It's how he chooses to make things." Her smile fell. She looked down at her hands, fingers twisting around the corner of her apron. "If I argue with him," she said quietly, "I'll lose the job. And I need this job." Her voice cracked, just barely. "I really need it." Evan's jaw tightened. He knew what that meant. He had lived it once, many years ago, before success came, before his name meant anything. "What about your family?" he asked softly. Lily's shoulders stiffened. After a long moment, she murmured, "It's just me." Those 3 words carried more weight than anything she had said all night. Just me. Evan felt something inside him snap. Not anger, promise. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Why do you keep giving so much when the world gives you so little back?" Lily finally looked at him. Her eyes glistened with something raw. Truth she didn't often let people see. "Because once someone helped me when I had nothing," she whispered. "And I promised myself I'd never forget how that felt." Evan's breath stilled. She didn't know, not yet, that she was speaking to a man who built his empire because nobody helped him when he was down. Because rejection, hunger, loneliness shaped every corner of his life. Lily continued quietly, almost trembling. "When I see someone struggling, I see myself, and I help them the way I wish someone had helped me every single day." Evan swallowed hard. That answer reached a place inside him he thought he'd buried. Then he said something he hadn't planned, something he didn't even know was coming. "Lily, I'm not who you think I am." She blinked. "I know," she replied softly. Evan froze. "You know?" She nodded. "You're not homeless." Shock hit him so hard he forgot how to breathe for a second. How? "I didn't say." She stopped him with a gentle shake of her head. "I see hundreds of people every week," she whispered. "People who are truly homeless, carry a different weight in their shoulders." Evan stared at her, stunned. "You carry something else. Sadness. Exhaustion. A loneliness that doesn't come from the streets." He felt naked, exposed, like she had peeled back every layer he hid behind. Lily offered a sad smile. "You're not broke, Evan. You're hurting." He looked down quickly, because her words were too close to the truth he had never admitted to anyone. He whispered, "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because," Lily said softly, "your pain deserves privacy." He thought he was the one testing her tonight. But somehow, she had been reading him the whole time. Before he could respond, the bar door slammed open. Robert, the manager, marched toward them, anger spilling off him like heat. "Lily," he barked. "My office." "Now." She stood quietly, bracing herself. Evan stepped between them instantly. "What's your problem with her?" he asked, voice steady. Robert scoffed. "My problem?" She's wasting company food and time on trash. Evan's jaw clenched. I'm trash, he repeated. Yes, Robert snapped. You don't buy anything. You don't tip. You sit here, eating food she pays for. You're worthless. And if she wants to keep this job, stop. Evan's voice dropped into something cold. Something dangerous. Robert froze. Evan stepped closer. What if, he said quietly, I told you that every word you just said was the biggest mistake of your career? Robert rolled his eyes. Oh, please. I've dealt with your type for years. Broke men pretending to matter. Lily whispered urgently. Evan, it's fine. Please don't make it worse. Evan shook his head. No, Lily. He needs to hear this. He reached slowly into the pocket of his worn jacket and pulled out a small black card. Robert squinted, then squinted harder. His face began to drain of color, because written in silver on the front was a name he saw every single morning on paperwork, salary slips, building leases. Evan Cole, owner. Robert went white. The customers behind them fell silent. Lily stared at the card in shock, her lips parting, breath catching, unable to believe what she was seeing. Evan slipped the card back into his pocket and looked at Robert calmly. You just insulted the man who signs your paychecks, he said quietly. But worse, you insulted the woman who keeps this place alive. Robert stammered. Yes, sir. You're fired. The entire bar froze. Even Lily gasped. Evan, she whispered. He turned to her immediately, and his voice softened in a way the whole room felt. Lily, you should never be punished for kindness. A single tear slid down her cheek, not because she was scared, but because someone finally stood up for her. Someone finally saw her. And Evan wasn't finished. From this moment on, he said gently, nobody here gets to treat you like you're small. Lily covered her mouth, overwhelmed. Evan's voice lowered, warm and sincere. I came here tonight to see if this place had any heart left. Turns out, the only heart it has is you. Her lip trembled. She whispered, Evan, what are you going to do now? He held her gaze, steady, certain. First, he said softly, take care of the woman who took care of me. Lily's breath hitched. And after that, Evan smiled, small, real, entirely unguarded. After that, I want to know the real story behind your kindness. Because for the first time in his life, money didn't impress him, power didn't move him, success didn't shake him, but one waitress, with tired eyes, and a soft heart, and a quiet courage, moved him in a way nothing else ever had. The bar felt different after Robert was gone. Lighter somehow, like someone had finally opened a window in a room that had been suffocating for years. But Lily didn't stand there celebrating. She just stared at Evan, a man she thought she understood, a man she thought was struggling, a man who turned out to be the owner of everything around her. Her voice trembled. You're the boss. Evan nodded slowly. Yeah, I am. Lily took a small step back, heart pounding. Not out of fear, out of shock. I fed you for free, she whispered, eyes wide. I talked back to customers. I defended you. I told the manager you were worth more than. Everything you did, Evan said softly, is exactly why you're the heart of this place. Her eyes glistened. But you let me believe you were broke. I needed to know, Evan admitted quietly, how people treated someone who couldn't offer them anything. And what did you learn? She asked, voice barely a breath. Evan swallowed hard, eyes never leaving her face. That you're the only person here who treats everyone with dignity. Lily didn't speak for a moment. Her chest rose and fell with a shaky breath. Why does that matter to you? She whispered. Because, Evan said, stepping closer, I know what it's like to be invisible. He saw her expression soften, sadness meeting understanding. When I was young, Evan continued, I slept in cars, worked night shifts, wore the same clothes until they fell apart. Nobody helped me. Nobody even looked at me. Lily blinked, slowly. He had never spoken about this to anyone. Not his board. Not his friends. Not even himself. I promised, he said, voice low, that if I ever became someone with money, I would never forget what it felt like to have none. Lily's breath broke. And tonight, she whispered. Tonight, he said, you reminded me of the kind of person I wanted to be. Silence washed over them. The kind that feels like truth settling into a room. Evan glanced toward the corner booth where she worked earlier. Can we sit? He asked softly. I want to talk. Really talk. Lily hesitated, then nodded. They sat across from each other. Two people who should have been strangers. but somehow felt like they had known each other's pain for years. "So," she said gently, "what happens now?" Evan folded his hands. "I want you to manage this bar." Her mouth parted. "What?" "You see people," he whispered. "You understand them. You protect them. This place needs someone like that." Lily shook her head fast. "I don't know anything about managing." "I'll teach you," Evan said quickly. "You're already halfway there." She looked down, tears forming again. "Why me?" He leaned forward, voice soft enough to hold. "Because when the world looked at you and saw a waitress, I saw a leader." Her throat tightened. Her fingers trembled. "And your job is safe," Evan added. "More than safe. No one, no manager, no customer, will ever talk down to you again. Not while I'm here." Lily wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "You're being too generous," she whispered. "No," Evan said softly. "I'm being fair." She let out a small laugh, broken but real. Then her expression turned gentle. "Evan, why did you look so sad tonight?" "Really?" He hesitated, the question hitting a place he kept locked away. "My life got big," he said finally. "Too big. And in all that noise, I forgot what real people looked like. Real kindness. Real conversations." "And tonight?" she asked. He smiled softly. "Tonight I found it again." Lily lowered her eyes, heart warming in a way she didn't expect. "You know," she whispered, "I didn't help you because I thought you were rich. I helped you because you looked like you needed someone." Evan's voice cracked. "I did." They sat like that. Quiet, warm, connected. A broke waitress and a hidden millionaire, who met in a moment of truth rather than status. After a long silence, Lily finally asked, "So, what do you want from me now?" Evan stood slowly, offering her his hand. "Not as a boss, not as a millionaire, just as Evan. I want you to stay," he said softly. "Not because you owe me, but because this place needs your heart. And maybe so do I." Lily stared at his hand. Then she took it, not because of money, not because of power, because she had seen the loneliness in him, the same one she fought every day. And for the first time in a long time, they both felt seen, as they stood there together, two people from different worlds. Evan whispered, "You changed my night, Lily. And you changed my life, Evan," she whispered back. And maybe, just maybe, this was the beginning of something neither of them expected. If this story touched your heart, share it. Because kindness doesn't always wear a smile, and heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, they walk in covered in dust, carrying stories that could change your heart forever.